the eave, the fascia on this one. You see how the fascia doesn't cover that rafter completely. So the rafter comes out of the ceiling or out of the attic space, probably attached to the truss. And then look at that, it's exposed. That's happening over here in this house too. So what this is kind of worrying me is when water gets down into that rafter tail end, water is going to absorb in that end a lot quicker than it would on the flat part. So the water runoff better drip off. That drip edge is going to push it out a little bit, but it's still, you know, you got to be careful. Make sure those rafter tails stay dry. Once this fascia starts warping and bending back, that water could drip down on that rafter tail and cause some damage. Most of these rafter tails are evenly spaced out, but I get in this one section here, these rafter tails are really far apart. A couple of them are really close together. I want to get up in the attic and see if there's a reason for this or if somebody just screwed up. Can you see how that fascia board actually covers up all those rafter tails? It's a wider board, so it goes down a little bit farther. Then right next to it, we're seeing it again, where we have the exposed rafter tails. See, those are covered up. I like the way that they did it on this house because they're actually covered. And then again over there you get thinner fascia board with rafter tails exposed. I don't like it. So how much clearance are we supposed to have on each side of the air conditioner? Not only that, is this big enough space to let water go past it? Because in Arizona, everything from the backyard has to drain into the front. There's no drainage back here. There's nowhere for any of that water to go. The only places for that water to go on this house is towards the front. So when you have an air conditioner in the way, it's going to limit your drainage. I always like to see gutters. Honestly, you get all that roof water out of here before it even causes any problems. Of course, some of you are going to argue, why do you need gutters? It's Arizona. This is like one of the driest states. If I could show you some of the foundation issues I've found, almost all of them have to do with water. If you can get rid of that water runoff from the roof before it gets down here on the ground and causes problems next to this beautiful stem wall and foundation here, that's what you need to do. Gutters are a good option. Yes, stucco cracks will leak over time. As you get a horizontal crack like this, the water running down this is going to catch that crack and try and push in right there. That's why we're seeing some water staining around this crack. That's got to be patched. So we're back looking at those trusses that were a little bit out of space. So this is back where they're at. Seeing if there's any reason why they moved them around, why they didn't even them out. Couldn't really tell you. Probably for just spacing, to get the right spacing between that wall and this last rafter. But we've got good amount of insulation up here. 10, 11 inches of blown in cellulose. Nice and even. One other thing I wanted to point out is this is kind of goofy, right? You've got an air duct going right up to your roof. This is actually fresh air intake. So you can get a fresh air through this duct. Goes through that. There's your fan. Possibly a booster fan. Then follow that duct up. Goes right over to that box right there. Then if you follow, this is that duct from right back there. You're gonna follow it up into this. It's a little bit kinked right there. It's not bad. This is your digital ventilation controller from Aprilaire. So this is gonna pull in some of that fresh air from the roof and mix it in with your house air. So follow that duct. That duct goes right on top of your air handler. So you set this digital control up here for how many minutes you want it to run per hour. So right now it's set at 20 minutes per hour. So if that switches on in the laundry room, this thing is going to pull in fresh air for about 20 minutes every hour when that AC system is running. What that's going to do is help pressurize your house, push all the dust outside when the door is open, help equalize the pressure. Because our houses are so tight nowadays, we seal everything up really tightly around the windows, the walls, the doors. so it's very airtight. So we need to bring in some fresh air. All of our cooking smells, showers, everything that gets in the air needs to be pushed out somehow. So this is our new way of how we're improving air quality inside of our homes, is we're pumping in fresh air through the AC system and expecting it to ventilate through the doors and the windows. Now you know. So when we push our ladders up into the attic access, especially down here in Arizona, we've got all this blown in insulation, which is just loose fill. So we do have a little bit of bad insulation on top of the attic hatch here to help insulate it, but all this loose stuff tends to go down and drop on the floor down there. Just give me more stuff to pick up. So what the insulation company or builders could do to help this is actually build a dam. Build about a 12-inch dam around this opening. So when you open this up, we don't get all this insulation falling down here, getting stuck on the ledge there on the frame of this cover. If you've got too much insulation there, it won't make a very good seal and it'll stick up. So all this insulation won't even matter because you'll get all the airflow going down through it. It's always a good idea to add that insulation on top of your attic hatch. Always a good idea. See, we're getting all this insulation right here. This is going to prevent that door, that hatch from sitting flat. Unless, of course, you want to spend the time to clean all this out every time you close your attic hatch. It's fine with me.